February 1959. Deep in the frozen wilderness of the Ural Mountains, 9 experienced hikers vanish overnight. Their tent is later found, sliced open from the inside. Footprints lead away into the snow. But what investigators discover next would confuse experts for decades. No clear signs of struggle. No obvious explanation. One chilling conclusion. An unknown compelling force caused the hikers to abandon their shelter more than 60 years later. The question still remains, what really happened at Dyatlov Pass? Igor Dyatlov was only 23 years old, but among his peers, he was already respected as a highly skilled trek leader. Born in the Soviet Union, Dyatlov had a reputation for precision, calm decision-making, and careful planning. This was not his first winter expedition. In fact, the route he selected was classified as Category 3, the most difficult level of hiking at the time. Only highly trained individuals attempted journeys like this. The goal: reach Ural Mountain, a remote peak whose name roughly translates to "Don't go there." An unsettling detail, though likely just coincidence. Dyatlov assembled a team of 8 others. Engineering students, experienced climbers, endurance athletes. These were people who understood survival. People who trusted each other. People who were prepared. So it seemed. On January 23, 1959, the group began their journey by train. Photographs from the trip show smiling faces, playful snow fights, guitars being played. Nothing suggested danger. Their diaries described excitement, adventure, confidence. After reaching the last inhabited settlement, they continued deeper into terrain few dared to cross in winter. Temperatures could drop below -30 degrees Celsius, -22 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds were strong enough to erase footprints within minutes, yet morale remained high. One member turned back early due to health issues, a decision that would unknowingly save his life. The remaining 9 pressed forward, step by step, into isolation. On February 1st, conditions began to worsen. Visibility dropped. Snowfall intensified. Instead of descending into a more sheltered forest area, the group chose to camp on an exposed mountain slope known as Kolat Sayako. Its translation, Mountain of the Dead. Again, likely rooted in ancient regional language. But in hindsight, the name feels haunting. The hikers set up their large canvas tent. They ate dinner, wrote journal entries, adjusted their gear. There were no recorded signs of panic, no mention of fear, routine preparation for sleep. At some point during the night, something changed. When the team failed to send their expected message, concern grew slowly. Delays were common in extreme expeditions. Days passed, then weeks. Families demanded action. Search parties were organized, including volunteers, students, and military personnel. Aircraft scanned the white landscape from above. Finally, nearly a month later, a searcher spotted something unusual on the slope. A partially collapsed tent, half buried in snow. What they found inside would raise immediate questions. The tent was still holding supplies, shoes, outer clothing, personal belongings. Everything suggested the hikers had left quickly, without fully dressing for the cold. But the most shocking detail, the fabric had been cut open from the inside. Not torn by wind, not damaged from outside, deliberately cut. Investigators studied the footprints leading away from camp. They appeared orderly, not chaotic. Some barefoot, some in socks, others lightly clothed. All heading downhill toward the dark tree line. Imagine stepping into sub-zero darkness voluntarily. What could make trained hikers do that? Roughly a mile from the tent, 2 members were found beneath a large cedar tree. Nearby branches were broken up to several meters high, suggesting someone may have climbed to look for the camp or spot danger. A small fire had been attempted, not far from them. Searchers discovered footprints indicating others tried to return to the tent, but they never made it. Months later, when the snow melted, the remaining hikers were located in a nearby ravine. Some had injuries investigators described as severe and difficult to fully explain through simple exposure alone. Yet, notably, there were limited external wounds visible in many cases. The scene puzzled even experienced examiners. The Soviet investigation moved quickly. Interviews were conducted. Gear was analyzed. Environmental factors were reviewed. No evidence confirmed an attack. No signs pointed clearly to another group. After reviewing possibilities, officials closed the case with a brief statement. The hikers perished due to an unknown compelling force. It was a conclusion, but not an explanation. Records were archived. Discussion faded. For a time. Over the decades, the Dyatlov Pass incident became one of the world's most debated mysteries. Some researchers proposed a snow slab slide, a type of small but powerful snow shift capable of forcing campers to evacuate quickly. Others explored the idea of infrasound, where certain wind patterns might create low-frequency vibrations known to cause unease or panic in rare situations. Additional hypotheses included. In recent years, scientific modeling has supported the possibility of a delayed snowslide. Yet, even modern analysis cannot reconstruct every second of that night with certainty. And that uncertainty keeps the story alive. Perhaps the most unsettling part of Dyatlov Pass is how ordinary the beginning was. Friends on an adventure. Photos filled with laughter. Plans for the future. Then, silence. The mountains remain vast and indifferent. A reminder that even experience does not guarantee control over nature. Today, hikers still visit the area. The pass itself was later named after Igor Dyatlov, not just as a location, but as a tribute. More than 6 decades later, Dyatlov Pass continues to challenge investigators, scientists, and storytellers alike. Maybe the answer lies in physics. Maybe in human decision-making under extreme stress. Or maybe some mysteries resist being fully solved. If you had been there that night, would you have stayed inside the tent or stepped out into the freezing dark? Subscribe for more real mysteries that history still cannot fully explain.